this day as Srila Prabhupada Memorial Festival. Also, in 1959, Srila Prabhupada took sannyas on 17th of September. So this date is very, very auspicious that
Can I
Srila
say something?
Prabhupada... Sorry, Maharaj?
Can you add something?
Yes.
One day I told Guru Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, this 17th September also Prabhupada's Sannyas Day. Guru Maharaj said, who said? Guru Maharaj said, Krishna Kashipu said. So Guru Maharaj said, that may be true. When I heard your name, the Guru Maharaj also did not know that the 17th September. When I heard the Krishna Kashipu said, must be he got somewhere. So it is your invention.
Maharaj, I just read in Leela Amrit, Maharaj. So, so this very auspicious date, and Guru Maharaj celebrated his Vyas Puja as also as Srila Prabhupada Memorial Festival. He spent his early childhood in Calcutta, and the same city where Srila Prabhupada was born and brought up. So that connection is there. And then he left India in 1970 for his further education, traveling across different countries and reaching finally in Germany. So recently we have Prathu Prabhu with us in Ujjain. Prathu Prabhu is Srila Prabhupada's disciple, and he was in Germany that time in Hamburg, where Guru Maharaj was studying. And he was sharing that he used to preach to Guru Maharaj when he was Bhakta Kishore. So he came to temple once, and Guru Maharaj also shared that pastime that he went to temple, but in some lecture there was description of some Indian saints which Guru Maharaj did not like. So Prathu Prabhu said, I was that who told that to Guru Maharaj. And then one day Prathu Prabhu heard that Guru Maharaj left for India to search a guru. And then he was sharing next information he got that after 6 months, he got sannyas. So he was shocked that how this boy got sannyas in 6 months. So Prathu Prabhu was sharing this, that how in Germany he was in a debate with his friends, and the friends were telling that India is so backward, and this is the country of snakes, snake charmers. So Guru Maharaj became very upset, and he came back to India to find a guru. And in the search of Guru for almost a year, he was going to different ashram. He went to Rishikesh, he went to different places. Finally, he went to Anandamayi Ma's place. And that place, he almost thought to join, but Anandamayi Ma gave this prophecy. And she said that he is not meant for this ashram. He belongs somewhere else. And when he surrenders to that place, the whole world will come under his feet. So that was a prophecy, and we can see that how that was true. Later on, Guru Maharaj met with devotees in Calcutta. Actually, one of his friends, Sarva Bhavana Prabhu, he joined ISKCON, and he took him to ISKCON Calcutta temple. And there, first service Guru Maharaj got was cutting fruits for the deities. So he was cutting that fruits for Radha Govinda. And then he wanted to purchase a book. So he asked for Bhagavad Gita, but there was not Bhagavad Gita available. So devotees wanted to give a book of similar size. So they gave him Nectar of Devotion. And generally, when we read Nectar of Devotion, it's not very easy to understand, especially when Prabhupada just used the English terminologies for all Sanskrit words. So it's very difficult to understand. But as Guru Maharaj was reading that book, the very first page, he decided that this is the path which I was searching for. And he read that book through in a day, and in night, Guru Maharaj got the dream of Srila Prabhupada sitting on a big singhasan. And that time, Guru Maharaj decided that this is my spiritual master. He went to ISKCON Mayapur. He was very much impressed by the devotees there, by the Gaur Arati and devotees class, especially Bhakti Raghav Maharaj's Bhagavad Gita class. And then all devotees were requesting him, why don't you join? So we are very enthusiastic when somebody new comes. So we all inspire them, why don't you join? But Guru Maharaj took it literally. And then next day, he threw his clothes in Ganga and he shaved up and he joined. So he became full-time devotee. And he was very much eager to meet Srila Prabhupada. He was waiting for Srila Prabhupada to come. And he heard that Srila Prabhupada came to Bombay. And Guru Maharaj was so excited. He went to Bhavanand Prabhu and he said, I want to go to Bombay to meet Srila Prabhupada. So Bhavanand Prabhu said, don't worry, Prabhupada will come to Mayapur, so you can wait. So Guru Maharaj was waiting each day. And then the news came that Prabhupada came to Allahabad for Kumbh Mela. And Guru Maharaj was so excited. Then a team of devotees went from Mayapur for book distribution to Allahabad. So Guru Maharaj went with those devotees along with Sridhar Maharaj to distribute books. And when he reached Allahabad, first time Bhavanand Prabhu asked him, I am going to meet Srila Prabhupada, would you like to come? And Guru Maharaj went with him. And first time he saw Srila Prabhupada from distance. But then he was stopped from going inside. So he was little bit morose, but then he understood that how difficult it is to reach Srila Prabhupada, how difficult it is to meet Srila Prabhupada. So he was distributing books throughout the whole day. And in evening, when Srila Prabhupada was giving his darshan, that time Guru Maharaj first time saw Srila Prabhupada. And Guru Maharaj describes that first sight, he understood that what real love means. What is the real love? He fell in love with Srila Prabhupada, and then he was given opportunity to travel with Srila Prabhupada from Calcutta, from Allahabad to Calcutta in the same train. And we know this pastime, how Bhavanand Prabhu dragged him practically to Srila Prabhupada's compartment and threw him inside. So Guru Maharaj went in offering obeisances, and then Prabhupada asked him to sit next to him. So Guru Maharaj was very cultured. He was hesitating to sit there. But then when Prabhupada asked, Guru Maharaj rolled little bit of the cover, the blanket on the seat, and he sat there. And in very first meeting, Srila Prabhupada asked him to translate all his books into Bengali. So that was the first service Guru Maharaj got, and he took it very seriously. And that service was so special because that gave him access to Srila Prabhupada anytime he wanted. So he would go to Srila Prabhupada for showing his translation, and Prabhupada would correct him. And soon after, Srila Prabhupada assigned him as a secretary for Indian affairs. And Prabhupada also asked him that you should shift with the same room as His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So Guru Maharaj practically became the personal entourage of Srila Prabhupada. And then soon after, in Gaur Purnima, so Guru Maharaj met Prabhupada in January, in the end of January. And Gaur Purnima generally comes in March. So Guru Maharaj got his first and second initiation soon after, like 2.5 months after meeting Srila Prabhupada. And he was not only an initiated disciple now, but also Prabhupada's secretary for Indian affairs and also his corresponding secretary. So he was serving Srila Prabhupada very intimately. Prabhupada gave him the name Shir Chor Gopinath Das. And then because he was serving Prabhupada so intimately that he didn't get time to go out and ask for bhiksha after initiation. There's a custom that disciples ask alms and offer to spiritual master, but he could not get time. So in evening, he went to Srila Prabhupada and he said, Prabhupada, you gave me initiation, but I could not offer you any bhiksha. So Prabhupada said, no, you offered yourself to me. That is the best alms. So that day, Guru Maharaj offered obeisances and offered himself to Srila Prabhupada. And we see in his life how full life he was serving Srila Prabhupada. Then there is a famous pastime when Srila Prabhupada told him, offer this life to Krishna. And he fulfilled it by giving Srila Guru Maharaj sannyas. So Prathu Prabhu was also sharing yesterday. He was mentioning that how some senior sannyasis, when they objected that Prabhupada, you are giving sannyas to this young boy, he just joined, I waited for 6 years to get sannyas. So Prabhupada chastised him, and Prabhupada said, he is more advanced now than you. He was more advanced when he was born than what you are now. And if at all he will fall to the mode of goodness. So that's what Prabhupada said, and everybody was shocked. Prabhupada gave him sannyas, and first time Prabhupada used the term bhakti, as we see in our parampara, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, Srila Bhakti Vinod, the Bhakti Vedanta. So in same line, Srila Guru Maharaj was given the name Bhakti Charu Swami. But the beauty of this whole sannyas pastime is, Guru Maharaj was not bothered about this title and designation of being a sannyasi, but he was more attached on serving Srila Prabhupada. So as soon as the sannyas ceremony was over, he rushed to the kitchen, cooking for Srila Prabhupada. And he was so absorbed in that service that when he served prasad to Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada asked him, so did you like your name? So Guru Maharaj said, Yes, yes, Prabhupada, I like my name, Bhakti Ruchi Swami. Then Guru Maharaj said, Prabhupada said, yes, that's also nice name, but your name is Bhakti Charu Swami. He was so absorbed in serving Srila Prabhupada. We can read these pastimes in the book Ocean of Mercy, how intimately Srila Prabhupada accepted Guru Maharaj in his service. And the last drop of water also, what Srila Prabhupada accepted was from his hands. And till last breath he was serving. And even in the Samadhi, Guru Maharaj was the last person with Srila Prabhupada. And we see how he was not ready to come out, but Tamal Krishna Maharaj had to pull him out from the Samadhi. He was so attached to serve Srila Prabhupada. But then he started his service in separation, how he took up the mission of Srila Prabhupada. I'm just rushing because we have only 1-2 minutes. So Guru Maharaj started the first elite class preaching in Calcutta, which is Vaishya Rishi program. Guru Maharaj said that how we hear about Raj Rishis, but there are no Kshatriyas in Kali Yuga. So we should preach to the Vaishyas, that means prominent business class people. So he started cultivating them in Calcutta. And Guru Maharaj was the Sankirtan leader for 2 years, 1978 and 1979. Guru Maharaj mentioned this in Spiritual Connections magazine. And in those 2 years, Mayapur came first in book distribution when he was Sankirtan leader. He was going village to village and preaching. There is that famous pastime also where Guru Maharaj meets the dacoits. So we can hear it that later. And then Guru Maharaj also, along with His Holiness Bhakti Sarup Damodar Maharaj, he pioneered Bhakti Vedanta Institute for preaching to the scientific class of people, to the scientists. So that is also wonderful contribution. He, of course, translated all Srila Prabhupada books into Bengali. Generally, when we ask devotees, have they read all Srila Prabhupada books cover to cover, we hardly get anybody's hand. But here, Guru Maharaj translated all the books of Srila Prabhupada into Bengali. One time in Juhu, one Mataji asked one question to Guru Maharaj, and she asked that Maharaj Prabhupada wrote in his book such and such statement. Guru Maharaj on mic he said, no, nowhere Prabhupada wrote this statement because I translated all books of Prabhupada into Bengali. So he read Prabhupada books so deeply he can tell that statement. Otherwise, nobody can tell that statement that how Prabhupada never wrote that. And then Guru Maharaj's voice, of course, we know his voice is divine voice, his evangelic voice. So he recorded many albums like Gitar Gan, Krishna Bhavna Amrit, Sharanagati, and different songs. And actually, he gave that Gaudiya culture to ISKCON of singing bhajans. Otherwise, this culture was not there. But he gave that culture of how to sing, which tunes to sing. Guru Maharaj himself composed the tunes also. And also he compiled all these songs, Vaishnava songs, in a book called Bhakti Giti Sanchayan, which is another contribution because very limited Vaishnava songs were available in English, but Guru Maharaj compiled many hundreds of songs together for ISKCON. He also produced one Bengali movie, Parikrama, defining how there is transformation in a person with devotee association. And also another very scholarly contribution of Guru Maharaj was that he pioneered VIHE, Vrindavan Institute of Higher Education, along with Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And he introduced many courses on the books which were not translated into English. Actually, now all these books are available so easily. But that time when Guru Maharaj was giving seminars, they were only available in Bengali and Sanskrit. So Guru Maharaj read them, understood them, made seminars on them, and made these courses available to whole ISKCON, which was again a very unique contribution. Then Guru Maharaj became the GBC member in 1987. He also served as GBC in many critical areas where the leaders had spiritual difficulties and saved many temples of ISKCON. Each story is very detailed, but we know how Guru Maharaj saved these different zones where gurus had spiritual difficulty and Guru Maharaj saved. He served as GBC chairman for 2 years, 1989 and 2017. Then in 1987, he also accepted the role of spiritual master. We know how Guru Maharaj was personally guiding each disciple and he has unique relationship with each disciple. Another wonderful contribution of Guru Maharaj, which is very unparalleled, is establishing Prabhupada's prominent position of Siksha Guru and founder Acharya of ISKCON. So although now it is becoming very common, we say yes, Prabhupada is founder Acharya, but in 1980s and 1990s, that was not the situation. Guru was the focus for disciples, not Srila Prabhupada. And Guru Maharaj drafted the foundational document and he worked for 20 years to establish Srila Prabhupada as founder Acharya. When GBC passed this resolution, it was the victory of Guru Maharaj's years of service. He saved New Mayapur property in France. He also served as Mayapur Gurukul director, where he also built the new Gurukul building of that time in Mayapur. He also established Veda Foundation, a non-profit organization in the United States for different animations and video production. And of course, we know how Guru Maharaj wanted to glorify Srila Prabhupada, so he made this 104 episode Avecharan, which had millions of views. Guru Maharaj also established ISKCON Ujjain in 2006, another world record by making it in 9 months, 20 days. He served as chairman of ISKCON Annamrit Foundation for many, many years. He also established many unique departments as altar department, murti department, G2 dresses department, where all over the world now altars and Prabhupada murtis are being delivered. In 2013, Guru Maharaj established ISKCON Panihati. In 2014, he established Arogya Niketan, a traditional Ayurvedic health clinic in Ujjain, for which many, many Prabhupada disciples come to Ujjain. He also was preaching to many, many higher government officials and businessmen through Artha Forum from UK to Singapore to India, many, many countries. And he even went to UK Parliament for preaching. He went to many, many organizations and companies like Accenture and different companies for preaching. He also established I Foundation for preaching in United Kingdom. Guru Maharaj also inspired Pandav Sena in UK when he was the GBC there for preaching. And now that Pandav Sena, actually the head of Pandav Sena, he is establishing Krishna Avanti schools. And you see the beautiful temple here. Guru Maharaj inspired this temple and also installed Krishna Balram deities here. For all these different contributions, United Nations in America awarded Guru Maharaj with a special award for his contributions for the whole world. Guru Maharaj also produced the Joy of Devotion film, an award-winning documentary on ISKCON on the 50th anniversary of ISKCON. He wrote Ocean of Mercy, which was his personal memories with Srila Prabhupada. He was the biggest fundraiser of TOVP temple. Till now, TOVP devotees tell that Bhakti Charu Maharaj was the biggest supporter. He would go with us every place and raise funds for TOVP. He was the initial pioneer and director for GBC College. And till Guru Maharaj left this planet, he never missed any session of GBC College. He personally went and taught in every GBC College session, whether it be Russia, South America, North America, in India, everywhere. So he was the main pioneer for this. He also was director for ISKCON Ministry for Cow Protection and Agriculture in North America. And of course, his last project, where he wanted to establish a spiritual retreat center in D-Land with lot of other projects in 116 acres of land. And main instructions of Guru Maharaj in the nutshell are never leave ISKCON, which he heard from Srila Prabhupada and he would repeat. No matter whatever happens, never leave ISKCON. GBC is the ultimate managing authority, and your love for me will be shown by how you cooperate with each other in my absence. So this was the nutshell presentation on Guru Maharaj's contribution, a drop of his contribution. So now we will play Guru Maharaj's lecture. This is his Memories with Srila Prabhupada, very famous video, but very, very heartwarming and inspiring.
You see, one Indian gentleman, middle-aged Indian gentleman who appeared to be like a very well-to-do businessman. So he asked Srila Prabhupada in a rather challenging way, why are you building new temples when there are so many old temples needing renovation and repair? So Srila Prabhupada didn't answer the question directly. Srila Prabhupada asked that man, who is that lady sitting next to you? So that man said, well, she's my wife. Then Prabhupada asked him, why did you get married? So the man got completely flabbergasted, so he couldn't answer. Then Prabhupada provided the answer. He said, you got married because you wanted to have children. Putrarthe kriyate bharja. One gets married, one accepts a wife in order to get children. But why get children when there are so many children loitering in the streets? And then Prabhupada explained that just as you want to have your own child, similarly devotee wants to build his temple and install Krishna, and in this way offer the temple to Krishna. One morning, Prabhupada was having his oil massage. Harisauri Prabhu was giving him a massage on the roof of Prabhupada's quarters in Mayapur. I took some letters that I replied, went to Srila Prabhupada, and I used to read the letters out to, the replies out to Srila Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada used to sign them. Prabhupada signed the letters, and then he continued to take his massage. And although Prabhupada signed the letters and I should have left, but I just sat there and watching Srila Prabhupada having his massage. And then Prabhupada just started to speak on his own. I mean, addressing me. He told, many lifetimes you tried to enjoy, but you can see that you are still not satisfied. So just offer this life to Krishna and don't get involved with any woman. And then he explained the futility of man-woman relationship. He explained how how sex desire is actually the chain that binds us in the material nature. And that's why the material nature is called Moithunagara, or a prison house of sex desire. And in this note, Srila Prabhupada spoke for about, I don't know for how long time, like half an hour, 45 minutes. And when I left, I felt that Prabhupada actually wanted me to become a sannyasi. I mean, that's just a feeling. So one morning, Srila Prabhupada wanted some orange juice. So there was no orange in Prabhupada's kitchen. So I went to the deity kitchen, devotee kitchen. There was no orange. So I had to go to the fruit shop, to buy some oranges. And those days, you remember, like there was nothing in front of our temple. So to get the oranges, I had to go quite a distance near the bus stop, bus station. And so when I came back with the oranges, and I started to make the orange juice, and the bell rang. Srila Prabhupada used to call us by ringing the bell. And so I ran to Srila Prabhupada's room. So Prabhupada asked me what happened to the orange juice. So I said, well, Srila Prabhupada, I'm just getting it, And then I went back and started to make the orange juice. And then, it took me some time to make it. So the bell rang again. But this time, the bell just kept on ringing continuously, Prabhupada just kept pressing the bell, And just by the sound of the bell, I could understand, how angry Srila Prabhupada must be. So I somehow, finished making the orange juice, put it in Prabhupada's silver cup, and took it on a silver plate and rushed into Prabhupada's room. But as I opened the door, I heard something that sounded like a thunderbolt. And Prabhupada was just telling me, like, take it away, I don't want it. I don't want it, I'd get out of here. But, I could not get out, Like, so with the bowl with the plate with the glass of orange juice in my hands, I just kept on moving towards Srila Prabhupada. And I came to Srila Prabhupada and I held it in front of him. For some time, Srila Prabhupada didn't pick up the glass. And finally, Prabhupada picked it up and he started to drink it. When he started to drink it, I realized that I forgot to bring the bowl of water that Prabhupada would need to wash his mouth after drinking the juice. So I ran to the kitchen, got the bowl of water, and then when Prabhupada was washing his mouth, then I remembered that I forgot to bring the napkin for Prabhupada to wipe his face. So this time I didn't run to the kitchen, I just went to Prabhupada's wardrobe and pulled out a towel and gave it to Srila Prabhupada. So then Prabhupada started to tell me, "You're trying to serve me so nicely, but I always chastise you. You see, when one becomes old, one becomes short-tempered, so please don't mind." When Srila Prabhupada was chastising me, I didn't feel bad. But when Prabhupada started to speak like that, my heart just broke. And I tried to tell Prabhupada, "Please don't speak like that, Prabhupada." But my voice was choked. And then finally but Prabhupada continuously speaking, like in that note, like how when one becomes old, one becomes short-tempered. And then I managed to speak up and I told Prabhupada, "Please don't speak like that. I make mistakes, and if you don't correct me, then what will happen to me?" That's one of the instances I remember when Srila Prabhupada chastised me very heavily. You see, Prabhupada just opened the Gurukul in Vrindavan and opened the new building actually. The new building was constructed. The Vrindavan Gurukul was going on. The new building was inaugurated. And Srila Prabhupada was very happy with the new building, and he used to tell people that about the Gurukul building when the people came for his darshan. So one very important businessman came to see Srila Prabhupada from Delhi. He is Jai Dayal Dalmia, one of the biggest industrialists in India. So he came with his 2 daughters-in-law and their children. And he was a very old man at that time, and very nice and pious man actually. So Srila Prabhupada was telling him about the Gurukul education system. And then he asked him to send his grandchildren to the Gurukul. And he explained to him that the modern education system is simply meant for creating Sudras, how to get a good job. That's the purpose of education. But your children, your grandchildren, do not need to get a job, but they should actually become the leader of the society. And that's why he should actually send his grandchildren to the Gurukul. And Srila Prabhupada also mentioned that, see, the Gandhis, Indira Gandhi's sons, Nehru's grandchildren, coming from such a aristocratic family, such a noble family, but look at them, they have become rascals and rogues. And he said that, do you want your grandchildren to become like that? No. Train them up to become the leaders of the society, a real leader of the society. And in this way, Srila Prabhupada actually explained. Now later on, I got to know his son, the father of one of the grandchild, and he told me that at that time his father was so convinced that he was planning to send his son to the Gurukul. And I know the son, his name is Abhishek Dalmia. Although he didn't go to Gurukul, but he has, although he didn't go to the Gurukul, but he keeps a sikha, I mean, the family is very, very pious, and it's unfortunate that he didn't send his son to the Gurukul, but I mean, you can see the potency of Srila Prabhupada's preaching. He is one of the richest men in India, and he was considering to send his grandson to the Gurukul. This was, just a few days before Prabhupada left the planet. Two very prominent Indian gentlemen came to see Srila Prabhupada. One was the governor of Madras, Sriman Narayan, and his brother-in-law, Ramkrishna Bajaj, a very big industrialist. So two of them came to Prabhupada's room, and some of us were there in Prabhupada's room. And at one point they just told that they wanted to discuss something in private with Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada asked us to leave the room. So, we left the room, although we didn't want to. But while leaving the room, I pressed the button, recording button of the tape recorder. And they asked Prabhupada who would actually have the legacy after Prabhupada left the planet. And Prabhupada mentioned to them that he is giving the legacy to all his disciples, and whoever follows will have the legacy. That was actually printed in the Back to Godhead that came after Prabhupada's disappearance, Prabhupada's final instructions, and this one was there. And then they figured out that the tape recorder was on, and they asked Prabhupada if they could switch off the tape recorder. So that was also there, in the tape recorder. I mean, it was taped. And I don't think after that they had any serious discussions. Actually, what they wanted to know, who would become Prabhupada's successor. But Prabhupada made it very clear that he is giving the legacy to all his disciples, all his followers. So whoever follows has the legacy. And he didn't want to appoint any successor as such. You see, it was in Vrindavan, one morning, Srila Prabhupada asked me to see if there is spinach, the two varieties of spinach, the green variety and the red variety. He asked me to see if we have these two varieties of spinach, if there was pumpkin, radish, eggplant, and bitter melon. So I went to the kitchen, and in Prabhupada's kitchen there was no spinach. So I went to the deity kitchen and devotee kitchen, and I was told that that was the month of spinach fast. So I went and told Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, this is Chaturmas and this is the month of spinach fast. So Prabhupada asked me, is everyone observing Chaturmas? So I got the message. So I myself went to the market to buy everything. And I went to the market and I thought I got everything. Then I came back and I told Prabhupada, I got everything. So Prabhupada asked me, what you got? So I said, Prabhupada, I got these two varieties of spinach, I got eggplant, I got pumpkin, I got radish. And then I remembered that I forgot to get bitter melon. But it was so stupid of me, like I told Prabhupada, I lied to Prabhupada, and I said the bitter melon. So I thought, just arrange to get the bitter melon, and so Prabhupada said, bring them. Yeah. So I ran out, so Prabhupada asked me to bring it. So I ran out, and there was an employee in the kitchen, in the guest house. His name was Kishan. So I gave some money to Kishan, and I said, Kishan, take the cycle, go to the market, and get some bitter melon. And so I was, I thought it'll take 10-15 minutes, And in the meantime, I went to the kitchen. I started to prepare other preps, and I was kind of, running back to the gate and kitchen and back, And then finally Kishan came back, and he said that there is no bitter melon in the market. And so I already went to the kitchen, the devotee kitchen. There was no bitter melon. And at that time, I felt as if, the whole world is crumbled down on me, And I was literally praying to Krishna, like, please save me from, now I have to go and tell Prabhupada that I lied to him, that I forgot to bring bitter melon. And, like I was kind of dazed and walking back. I was kind of preparing myself. Now I have to go and tell Prabhupada. I didn't tell him at that time because I thought that Prabhupada would get annoyed with me and start chastising, and now who knows, what kind of chastisement I'll get, And so usually what I used to do is take the passage next to the temple, the Parikrama Marg, and walk up to the up to Prabhupada's kitchen. But I don't know, I was so dazed. I walked up to the Gurukul building, and then I started to, go that way through the Gurukul building. And there, I saw on the balcony, on that passage, to Gurukul, there is one green bitter melon. I just pounced on that and started to thank Krishna in every possible way, and ran, picked up the vegetables and went to Prabhupada's room. And Prabhupada was already taking his massage. So before taking his bath, he used to take his massage. So I went to his room, and I told Prabhupada I brought the vegetables. So Prabhupada told me how to cut the vegetables. And then finally I said, Prabhupada, and the bitter melon? And so Prabhupada looked at me and said, bitter melon? And just the way Srila Prabhupada said bitter melon, I was completely convinced beyond any doubt that Prabhupada knew what actually happened. Prabhupada taught me to cook one preparation called bati chachari. It is made with pottle and potatoes. And you put a lot of ghee and a lot of chili, a lot of red chili. And so Prabhupada asked me to cook that preparation. But Prabhupada's stomach was not very good at that time. So while preparing that, I felt that I should not put so much red chili. So I cooked it, with, no, he had stomach problem. His stomach was not so good. So he didn't want any red chili. And he didn't want any red chili in there. I didn't put any red chili, thinking that, like his stomach was not good. And when I served, Prabhupada just took a bite and he became very angry. He said that I personally taught you how to cook it and you forgot. And he was very, very heavy, And not only at that time, for next 2 days, whenever I went near him, he just blasted me. That and his point was, he personally taught me how to cook that, and I forgot. And not only he chastised me, whoever went to him, he also told him how useless I was. Then on the third day, when Prabhupada's anger, Prabhupada's anger subsided to some extent, And Prabhupada kind of, rather in a mild way this time, he asked me, how could you forget when I personally taught you? And then I told Prabhupada, I didn't actually forget. I deliberately didn't put it because I thought your stomach was not good. And red chili will not be good for your condition. Then Prabhupada told me, then why didn't you tell me all this while? And then he told me that ghee is hot and chili is hot. But when there is a lot of ghee and a lot of chili, they counteract each other's effect.
Krishna Kirtan.
Hare Krishna. We would like to thank Bhakti Prema Maharaj, first of all, for inspiring all of us to hear Guru Maharaj's lecture. And then we would like to thank His Grace Krishna Kishore Prabhu for sharing so deep insights about Guru Maharaj's brief introduction and then a very amazing lecture. And we still miss Guru Maharaj's that amazing pastimes, how he shared about Srila Prabhupada. So we will be back here tomorrow at the same time, 5:30. And we will be hearing about His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and a very special guest to give an introduction about His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, and that will be disclosed to you tomorrow. Till then, Hare Krishna.
Before that, there will be exam for today's class.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, Krishna Kirtan Prabhu told there will be no quiz for the class. Okay, we'll make arrange quizzes also. Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki Glorofication.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna.